Yeah. So in our previous session, we have discussed something called a switch statement, and we have discussed while loop, right? And today we are going to continue our discussion with the looping statement. And today I'm going to discuss three more loops. Today I'm going to discuss do while loop, for loop, and I will give some information about for each loop. So let's start today's session with the do while. So as you can see my in the screen, let us first read the definition, then I will explain you the concept. So do while loop is a post-tested or exit control loop. What do you mean by post-tested or exit control loop? Now in this loop, the condition, right? Previously we have discussed if condition. Yeah, so post-tested or exit control loop means in this loop, the condition will be tested at the end of the loop body, right? As you can see in my screen, so this is the syntax of a do while loop. First, you need to write the do keyword. This is your loop, open and close curly braces. This is the loop body, and after the loop body, the condition is going to be tested. So as the condition is going to be tested after executing the statement, I mean at the bottom, so this is said to be a post-tested or exit control loop. That means first it will execute the loop body and then it will be going to test the condition. As you can see, this is the syntax. First, it will execute the statement, whatever statement present inside this loop body, those statements are going to be executed first. Once the statements executed, then it is going to check the condition. If this condition returns true, then it will again come inside and execute the statement. If this condition false, then it will not come inside and it will not execute the morning, Pratik. Okay. So you understand, first it will execute the loop body and then it is going to test the condition. That means we need to use the do while loop where we need to execute the loop body at least once. Now, if you ask me, sir, what is the difference between this while loop and that we discussed in our previous session and this do while loop? There is only one difference. The difference is that in this case, the loop body is guaranteed to be executed once, right? Even though first time if you are checking the condition, even though condition is failed, this loop is guaranteed to be executed only once. But there is no guarantee in the case while loop that the body is going to be executed at least once, right? Why? Because in do while loop, the condition is tested by after executing the statement. But in while loop, the condition will test first, then only the loop body is going to be executed if and only if the condition, right? So that means we need to use do while loop when we need to execute the loop body or the statement present inside this open and curly braces at least one. And one more thing, then where, yes, see, if we are not going, if we are executing the body without checking the condition, then it doesn't make sense, right? But situations like this menu driven programs where the termination condition depends upon the end user, in situation like this, suppose you are going to develop any menu driven program, then in that scenarios, you need to use do while loop. We'll see that in practical. So based on the condition, if you want to execute the loop, then you need to go with the while loop. And if you want to execute the loop body at least once, irrespective of the first condition, then you need to go with do while loop. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see the syntax, right? The loop is created by using the do keyword followed by the open and close curly braces. In between the open and close curly braces, you can write the statement that you want to execute at least once. Why I'm saying at least once? This is because if the condition is going to fail, then also this statement is going to be executed at least one. If the condition is true, then again it will execute the loop body. That is not an issue. But if the condition is fail first time, then also this statement is going to be executed. Why? Because first it will execute the loop body, then only it is going to test the condition, right? After the close curly braces, you need to write the while condition like this, right? Please note that the while condition statements end with a semicolon. You can see this is a semicolon, right? The condition expression must be a Boolean expression. Like if else, like while loop, whatever you write inside the while, it should return either true or false, right? The syntax is clear.
Yes.
Okay. Now you might have one question. Already we have discussed while and do while are almost the same. So what is the difference? Which one do we use? The difference between the do while and while loop in C# is that do while evaluates its test condition at the bottom of the loop, whereas while loop evaluates its test condition at the top. What it means, now in the case of while loop, first it will evaluate the condition. The condition is at the top, then the loop body. And in the case of a do while loop, the statement is at the top, the condition is at the bottom, right? Therefore, the statement written inside the do while loop are executed at least once. So the statement what you have written, it is guaranteed to be executed at least once in the case of a do while loop, and there is no guarantee that the statement is going to be executed at least once in the case of a while. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you want to execute the loop body at least once, irrespective of the condition, then you need to use do while loop, else you need to use while loop. If you want that irrespective of the condition, my loop body should execute at least once, then in that case you need to use do while loop. And if you want to execute your loop body depending upon the loop condition from the beginning only, then you need to go for while loop, right? Then already in our previous session we have discussed some examples using do while loop, and when we are going to use, sorry, in the previous session we have discussed a while loop, and today I'm going to discuss do while loop, and I will also discuss one real-time example. I will create one menu-driven program which is suitable to use while loop at the end of this while loop concept. Right now, let us understand the flowchart. So the flowchart means the do while loop starts. Once the do while loop starts, it will execute the loop body, right? Once it executes the loop body, then it will test the condition. When it will test the condition, there are two outcomes. Either the condition is true or the condition is false. If the condition is true, then it will go and execute the loop body, right? If the condition is false, it will end the do while loop. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, let us see some of the examples so that you will get better idea. Okay, so this the front side is fine. You can all see, right? Yes. Okay. See, here I'm declaring one variable that is 1, and I'm printing that number in the console. I'm increasing that variable, and here I'm providing the condition as number less than equals to 5. That means this is a program which is basically used to print the numbers from 1 to 5, right? Let's run the application. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let us debug this application. See. So first it will execute the loop body, or first it is entering the loop body. So okay, let me press F9. So loop body. So once it executes the loop body, then it is going to check the while condition. Once the while condition is true, then again it will enter inside the loop body and execute the statement. Okay, let's see. Yeah, see the loop condition is true. It is going to execute. Again, the condition is true. It is going to execute. Again, the condition is true. It is going to execute. What is the current value of number 5? Again, 5 is less than equals to 5. The condition is true. So it will enter inside. Now what is the value of number? Number becomes 6. Once the value becomes 6, 6 is less than equals to 5. The condition will be false. So the control will come out from the loop. See? You understood? So as long as so first time it will enter inside the body, execute the statement at least once. Once the statement inside the body is executed, then it is going to check the condition. And once it check the condition, there are two outcomes. Either the condition is true or false. If the condition is true, it will come inside and execute the loop body. And if the condition is false, then it will come out from the while loop. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there is also the concept of a nested while loop. nested do while loop. So what do you mean by nested do while loop? Now, if we are putting a do while loop inside another do while loop, then it is said to be a nested do while loop. See the example, see the syntax first. So this is the do, this is the outer do while loop, and this is the inner do while loop. So you can have some statement before the inner while loop or after the inner while loop. And this is going to be executed like this. So first it will come inside this body, it will execute this statement, then it will come inside the inner do while loop, execute this statement, it will check the inner while loop condition. If the inner while loop condition is true, then it will continue executing the inner while loop only. Once the inner while loop condition is failed, then it will come and check the outer while loop, outer do while loop condition. If the outer do while loop condition is true, then again it will come inside and execute the inner while. It will execute all these statement. Once the outer while loop condition is failed, then it will come outside the outer while loop. So the point that you need to remember is when the inner while loop condition is failed, then it will only terminate the inner while loop. It will not terminate the outer while loop. When the outer while loop condition is failed, it will terminate the do while loop. So this do while loop is for inner functionality and this do while is for outer functionality. If the inner while loop condition is true, it will continue executing the inner do while loop. If the outer do while loop condition is true, it will continue executing the outer do while loop. And when it is executing the outer do while loop, as part of the outer do while loop, this inner do while loop is going to be executed. And once this condition fails, then it will come outside the do while loop. Let us see an example so that you will get better idea. Okay. See, first it will come, first it will come here, right? So it will execute this statement. I am from outer do while loop. Once it execute this statement, it will come inside, and here it will print I am from inner do while loop. Once it print this statement, it will check this condition. If this condition is going to true or false. Anybody want? This condition is false. False means it will terminate this inner while loop. Then it will come and check whether this condition is true or false.
False.
Also, it will terminate this outer while loop. So when you execute, so first it will print this statement and it will print this statement. But the thing that you need to remember, irrespective of the while loop condition, the body is going to be executed at least one. So first time when it is checking the condition, it is going to be false. If it is going to false, in the case of while loop, the body will not be executed. As it is a do while loop, the body is executed fast, right? So that's why when you execute the application, you will see this is your first output and this is your second output. See? Okay. So it will come inside the outer do while loop. It will execute the statement. After executing, it will come inside the inner while loop. It will execute this statement. After executing, it is checking the condition. Condition become false. It will come to the outer while loop condition. Again, the condition false, it will come outside. Right? Now, let us modify this program a little bit. Integer outer equals to 1. Integer outer equals to 1. Right? And here I'm writing integer inner equals to 1. So outer is greater than 3, inner is greater than 3. Okay, can anyone predict what will be the output? Okay, first it will come inside this do while loop, outer do while loop. It will execute this statement. After executing this statement, it will execute this statement, right? So it will execute this statement, and for this statement, it will check the condition. Okay, so let me inner plus plus, and this is going to be outer plus plus. Okay, so first of all, it will come inside the do while loop body, right? Outer do while. So let me give this outer do while loop, and this is going to be your inner do while loop, right? Okay. So first, this statement will be printed, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After printing this statement, next what it will print? It will come this inner while loop. It will print this statement, right or not?
Yes, sir.
After printing this statement, it will make the inner count value, increase the inner variable value by 1. Let me create a two variable, inner and a outer. Outer is 1 by default and inner is 1. We have created initialize, right? Now, so once this statement is executed, it will increment the inner while loop. So inner while loop value becomes 2. Now it will check 2 is greater than 3. Sorry. Okay. So 2 is less than 3, condition satisfy or not?
True, sir.
True. True means it will execute this inner while loop. So once it execute this inner while loop, again what output you will get? You will get this one, right? And again once it executes, so this inner while loop will becomes what? It will become 3. Now 3 is less than 3, condition true or false?
False.
False. False means it will not execute this while loop, right? Inner while loop will not be executed. So what statement after the while loop that will be executed? Outer plus plus. So what will be the outer value right now? It will become 2.
2.
2 is less than 3. Condition true or false?
True.
True. True means it will come inside this loop body, right? Once it come inside this loop body, first it will execute this statement. Right or wrong?
Right, sir.
Right. Once it execute this statement, it will create the inner variable once more. So inner variable will be created with the value 1, right? So it is a local scope. Each time the body executed, this variable will be created. Once it come outside the while loop, this variable will be deleted, right? Each time the do while loop body will be created, executed, it will create the local variable inner, right? So then it will execute this statement, then it will increment the inner variable value by 1. So inner variable becomes 2. 2 is less than equals to 3, condition satisfy. So this variable, this block will execute once more, right? Sorry, yeah, 2 times. Okay, let me explain you once more so that you will get better idea. Okay, what is the outer variable value currently? I'm explaining the concept from the beginning once more. So when the statement is executed, the outer variable will be created. Which is the what value? Value will be 1. And once this is executed, then the do while loop then start executing. Once the do while loop start executing, first execute this statement. So it will execute this statement, right? Once it's executing this statement, this local inner variable will be created. So this inner variable will be created with the value 1. Once this inner variable is created, then this do while loop, inner do while loop is going to be executed. So first of all, it will execute this statement. So you will get the output. So once it execute this line number 16, then it will increment the inner variable value. So what inner variable will become 2? It will become 2. Then it will check the while this do while loop condition. Inner, the current value is 2. 2 is less than 3. Condition satisfied. So again, this loop body is going to be executed. Again, it will print this statement. And after printing, it will again increment the inner variable value by 1. So what inner variable will become? It will become 3. Now 3 is less than 3, condition false, right? Once the condition false, it will come outside the inner while loop, inner do while loop body. What is the statement after the inner do while loop? Outer variable plus plus. So it will make the outer variable value by 2. Once it make the outer variable value by 2, it will check the it will come outside this scope. So this is our scope. So it will come outside. Once it come outside the scope, this inner variable will be deleted because this is a local variable, right? Once you come outside of the scope, the local variable will be deleted, right? So again, it will check outer is less than 3. What is the current outer value? Current outer value is 2. 2 is less than 3. Yes, condition satisfied. Once the condition satisfied, it will come inside this loop. So it will execute this statement first, right? Once it executes the statement, this inner variable will be created once more. Once more, inner will be created with the value 1. Then this inner loop is going to be executed. So what is the inner loop? So first of all, it will print this statement, right? It will print this statement. After printing this statement, it will increment the inner variable value by 1. So inner variable becomes 2. So 2 is less than 3, condition satisfied. So the loop body is going to execute once more. So this is going to be printed on the console, right? So once this value is printed on the console, then again it will increment the inner variable value by 1. So this is going to be 3. So 3 is less than 3, condition false. So this loop body is not going to be executed. So whatever statement after the loop, that will be going to executed. So outer variable become 3. So current value is 2, so plus plus means it will become 3. Once it becomes 3, so it will check 3 is less than 3, condition fails. It will come outside the outer loop, right? So that means when we execute the program, if we are getting this output, then our thought process is right. So let's try to run the application. Okay, see what is we have written. We are getting the same or not? Is that clear? Hello?
Sir.
Clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, let me copy this example. Right. Okay. Now, as I told you, I will show you one real-time example of do while loop. So let us understand one real-time example. Okay. Let me copy paste the code and I will explain there. Okay. See, so this is a menu-driven program where based on the user interaction, we are going to perform the operation. So first of all, we'll ask the user to press 1 for if you want to perform addition operation, press 2 if you want to perform subtraction, and press 3 for multiplication, and finally if you want to perform division operation, you want to press 4. Apart from 1, 2, 3, 4, if the user entered anything else, then we will say that it's an invalid number. Do you want to continue, right? And if the user want to continue, then he has to enter the character Y. If he enter Y, then we will continue and we will show these options once more so that he have another chance to provide the correct output, right? And whatever the input he is providing, I'm taking from the console. So as a console, so I'm using console.readline method. But this method will take the data as the input as a string. So I'm using convert.toInt32 method, and I am storing and I'm converting that integer number, and I'm storing in the integer variable menu option. So whenever the user press enter 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, that number will be stored in the menu option, right? So now, so then I'm using switch case statement. So stay, but remember that whatever functionality I'm going to provide, I have written inside the do while loop, right? And what is the condition? The condition is that if the user enter any character, right, character Y, and if I'm converting, I'm asking the user to enter a character, right? So if the user enter the character Y, then I'm going to continue the execution of this loop. If the user press anything other than Y, then this loop is going to be executed. But here the condition is checked at the end. That means whatever statement we have written inside this loop body, that is going to be executed at least one. So as soon as you run the application, this statement will be executed. It will ask the user, please enter 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, 4 for division, right? Once the user enter the number, that number is going to be stored in this menu option, right? Then you can see. So we have already discussed the switch case statement, right? For 1, I have written one switch case statement. For 2, I have written another switch case statement. For 3, I have written another, and 4, I have written another. Apart from 1, 2, 3, 4, if the user enter anything, then this default block is going to be executed, right? And in each case, what I'm doing, I'm asking the user to enter two numbers. And what I'm doing, whatever number the user entered, I'm storing the number in the number one and the number two integer variable. Again, the same process. The number will be entered as a string. I'm converting that string value to integer by using convert.int32. Once the user entered the two number, then what I'm doing now, I'm just adding those two number and showing the result that sum is this. And in this case, if the user enter 2, then this code block is going to be executed. And 2 for what purpose? Subtraction. So I'm taking the 2 number from the user, then I'm doing a subtraction operation. If the user enter 3, then I'm taking 2 numbers from the user and I'm doing a multiplication. If the user enter 4, then I'm taking 2 numbers and I'm doing a division operation, right? After the division operation, so in each operation, this break statement is executed. When the break statement is executed, what it will do? It will terminate the switch. So once the switch terminates, then whatever the statement present after the switch block, that is going to execute it. So when the statement is executed, it will ask the user, please enter Y to continue if you want to perform any other operations, or any key to terminate. If the user enter Y, so what I'm doing, now I'm just taking the number as a string and I'm storing that number in the character variable. So if you want to convert a string to character, then you need to use converter to char method. Then whatever the user entered the character, I'm just converting that character to uppercase. As it is a character, so I'm using char.toUpper method. This method will convert the character into uppercase, and I'm comparing that character with a capital Y. If this is Y and this is Y equals to Y, means it will return true. Once it return true, then the same process is going to happen again. If it is not Y or anything else, this program will be terminated. Is that clear?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that okay? Now let's run the application. Okay. So this statement is present. Press 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, 4 for division, right? I'm entering 3. Then it will ask to enter two number. I'm entering 10, I'm entering 20, and I'm pressing enter. So multiplication is 200. Now again it is saying. So what happens now? This statement is executed. This statement is executed as I enter 3. So this block is executed. So multiplication is 3. After this block is executed, the break statement is 1. So once the break statement is executed, this message is shown to you in the user. Please enter Y to contact. Now it's my voice. If I want to continue, then I will enter Y. And if I don't want to continue, I can enter anything. Suppose I want to continue, I just press small y. If I press small y or capital Y, that doesn't matter. Why? Because we are converting the character to uppercase, right? So if I'm converting to uppercase, that means irrespective of the small letter y or capital letter Y, it will be converted to capital letter Y, and then it will come back. So I'm entering small y. And as long as I press Y, again, see what happened. Now, this Y, this choice variable store this Y variable, then this condition will be checked. Y equals to Y, condition true or false, condition true. So condition true means the loop body is going to be executed once more. So it is asking you, now what operation you want to perform. Now I'm entering 1. So again, it will ask me for entering two numbers. So I'm entering 10 and 20. So the sum is 30. Please enter Y to continue, any keys to terminate. Now I'm entering any key. Any key means other than Y. So I'm just entering R and I just press enter. The program is terminate or not? Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is all about while loop. That means if you want to develop menu-driven program where executing the loop body at least one is mandatory, then you need to use do while loop. In this case, it doesn't make any sense to give this information from the beginning and then execute the loop body, right? So this is the ideal scenario where user will decide whether he wants to continue or not. If he wants to continue, the loop is going to execute. If he doesn't want to continue, the loop is not going to execute. And can anybody tell me it is a kind of a counter loop or a conditional loop?
Conditional loop, sir.
Yes, it is a conditional loop because we cannot predict how many times the loop is going to execute. The loop is going to execute based on the condition, and the condition is given by the user only. So it is a conditional loop. If you predict the loop is going to execute for 5 times or 10 times, then that is going to be a counter loop. For example, the for loop, which is going to we will be discussed now, that is a counter loop. But this loop is a conditional loop because based on the condition only the loop body is going to be executed at least once, but then it is depend upon the condition, right? We cannot predict how many times the loop is going to be executed. So this is all about while loop. Now let's move, and this while loop is not used frequently, right? If you are going to develop any kind of web applications like if you want to develop ASP.NET MVC or ASP.NET Web API or a WCF kind of application, right? Then this while loop is rarely used. Which one is frequently used? For loop and for each loop, right? And now we are going to discuss for loop in detail, and then I will discuss for each loop. Okay. Now. Okay. Okay. The for loop is the most commonly used loop.
Sir,
Yeah. Anybody having
Can I
any
ask-
doubt related to do while loop? Let us. I forgot
Yes,
to ask.
sir, I am asking only one thing. Why do while loop is rarely used?
So I have shown you one real-time example. This one. If you
Yeah.
want to develop any menu-driven application where it is mandatory to execute the loop body at least one, then in that case you need to use this do while loop, right? In this case, it is mandatory to execute the loop body at least one.
Okay.
So as it is mandatory, I cannot use the while loop or do while loop.
Okay.
Sorry, I cannot use while loop or other kind of loop. It is mandatory to use this thing. And here it is also mandatory that based on the user input, you need to decide whether you want to continue the loop or not. This is not possible in the case of what we can say for loop and a while loop. In for loop, it is not possible. The user will decide the loop is going to be terminated because for loop is a counter loop. Based on the counter, the loop is going to be executed, and this is your conditional loop. Based on the condition, the loop is going to be executed, and the condition is can also be given by the user. The user will decide whether he wants to continue the loop or not. Basically, if someone asks you when you need to use do while loop, you can say if we want to execute the loop body at least once, irrespective of the loop condition, then we need to use do while loop. One of the real-time example of using do while loop is menu-driven program. If you want to develop any menu-driven program, and in that case, we need to use do while loop. And in that case, based on the user input only, we can decide whether the loop body is going to execute or not.